and welcome to Siren Digital Nature of the Beasts. We are back. It has been 6 months since the last, 6 months? And we've got a brand new 3-stream festival for you today. This one is Dive Under the Water. I'm Sophia.
I'm Xenia.
And we're going to be your anchors for today. So Xenia, do you want to tell us a little bit about what Siren is?
Yeah, well, Siren is basically a digital communications charity, and we want to help young people 16 to 25 feel better about their place in the future with the environment.
Yeah, awesome. We've also got Jamie here today. He's in Ecology Corner. Say hi, Jamie.
Hi, good afternoon.
All right, how's it going?
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good.
Jamie's our young ecologist.
Student.
I'm counting you as an ecologist, darling. And he's going to be offering us expertise. He's got a lovely stack of textbooks there in case we've got to check anything. Just because, you know, Xenia is a filmmaker and I don't really know what I do, bit of everything. So yeah, we're going to be checking with Jamie and we'll introduce you guys to Lauren in a second. But first video?
Yeah, let's go.
Exciting.
So this was our first video created by our young producers, 2 of which are here right now, created by Frankie, and music composed by River and Laura, who we'll be seeing later.
Yeah. Thank you guys for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's so exciting. We're going to chat about the video. So, I guess, what did you want to ask?
Well, my first question was it as meditative to create as it was to watch? Because it's really relaxing and really calming. What was the experience like making it?
Well, River, I don't know what you want to say about this, but it started raining as soon as we got to where we were meant to be filming. We were filming near Rabness, I believe it's called, which is part of the store. The thing about the store is that it's such a huge area that, I didn't realise just how large it is. So obviously we only visited a small little part of it, but it started raining as soon as we got there. So that's why it starts off with rainy footage. I ended up using a lot of footage from Project Seahorse. Is that what it's called?
It is Project. Yeah, we've got to say a huge thank you to Project Seahorse. We've used quite a bit of their footage in several of our videos, and we'll point it out a bit later on as well. Yeah, you did use a bit of that, and you used a bit that Xenia shot as well, because throughout it kind of gets brighter, which is really, really lovely. It starts off with you guys had this really horrible rainy day, and then when we were out shooting our footage, it was 25 degrees, and we were sucking on sun cream every day. And in terms of creating the music, River, how did you guys go about that? Because it's a beautiful piece, and you guys are lovely musicians.
Thank you so much. So the thing that really struck Laura and I about the Stour is Stour or store.
This is the debate in the comments.
Yeah, let us know what you think.
Stour or store? If you think it's Stour, put a...
I always thought it was store.
Yeah, I think it's store. You think it's store?
No, I'm from the store. The Stour's in Kent. The store is in Suffolk. Suffolk, Essex
we'll
is the
agree
store.
On store for now.
See, in the comments, say it's the same spelling, isn't it? What would we put in the comments? Type blue if you think it's store, and type green if you think it's Stour. Okay, and we'll do a poll.
I'm going to go with store because I feel like I was hit with so much disagreement. Store feels much safer for me. The thing that really struck us about the store is how calm it was, even when it was raining and the weather was atrocious and it was cold. There was this underlying calmness about the river, and we tried to convey that in the music by having this rumbling sort of stillness in the piano part, and then in the same way that on the store when there was a bird, or when there was a bit of thunder when we were out there, or when you see a boat, there's moments of brightness or excitement or interest. So we have that violin line on the top, a bit of movement, a bit of energy, a bit of brightness, trying to convey that in the music. It was a really exciting project, and working with film was a great experience.
Is that a new experience for you?
Yeah, a new experience, but it's made me realise that actually this is what I want to do forever. So it's totally exciting. Yeah, it's great.
Amazing.
Can I just add something to that? In that, obviously with the video, what you don't see is the behind the scenes of me with my tripod and my camera set up on this really muddy just when it's just pouring with rain, and River's holding an umbrella or whoever it was holding an umbrella over me, and we're all just soaked. River was soaked. I don't think you even had a coat on when we were there, because we thought it was going to be nice and sunny, like today.
Sounds like you,
But we
Jamie.
get there and it's just pouring. And that's what you don't see in the video, is us just all soaking wet, walking back.
We have a real problem in this team with not taking coats out when we go into nature. Oh my goodness. Everyone is, right. If there's one takeaway from everything we've done in this event, it's take a coat with you.
And an umbrella, because if I didn't have my umbrella, then we all would have been just soaked.
Completely
even more
screwed.
soaked. And my camera would have
this is true.
Possibly not survived.
This is true. Was there anything else you wanted to ask?
I just wanted to say it's a really nice representation of kind of what the store is like, because you get all these weathers all the time changing, and you got them all in the nicest way possible. So I think that was really well done.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. So what a lovely way to open the first of our 3 live streams. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
We've got a video about seagrass coming up next. And this one is, well, it features myself and Lauren, who you will meet imminently.
Am I supposed to be disgruntled just when you start talking about seagrass, do you think? Or in general, that's just my personal... I don't know at what point disgruntled just looks lazy.
Yeah, there you go. We'll get like a...
Guess what I learnt the other day?
Here we go.
I learnt that there's something underwater keeping you and me alive, and we didn't even realise.
Oh, for God's sake.
Just like we have grass meadows on land, there are also seagrass meadows under the sea. And just like meadows on land, seagrasses support a wide range of wildlife. In fact, 2 species of seahorse found in the UK live in seagrass meadows, as well as sea stars, flatfish and jellies. Seagrasses act as nursery grounds for loads of sea creatures and also protect our coastlines from storms, waves and coastal erosion.
So it's just a big load of seaweed then, yeah?
No, actually, that's where you're wrong. Seagrass is not seaweed. They're plants and they're adapted to live underwater. They produce flowers, release pollen, and then plankton takes this pollen from flower to flower, a bit like a bumblebee.
Wait, rewind a sec. You said something at the beginning about how it kept us alive.
Yes, absolutely. You often hear about how rainforests are the lungs of the earth, taking in carbon dioxide and pumping out oxygen. They produce around 25% of the oxygen that we breathe. But seagrass is the lungs of the sea. They produce over 30% of the oxygen that we breathe.
So like 1 in 3 breaths breathed comes from seagrass?
Yes, exactly. And seagrass also captures carbon up to 35 times faster than rainforests.
Ha, stupid rainforests.
Despite only covering 0.1% of the ocean floor, it absorbs 10% of the ocean's carbon every year. So it's super important for the fight against climate change and for ecosystem loss. But a variety of factors are threatening seagrass habitats across the world. Seagrasses are now one of the most rapidly declining ecosystems on the planet.
Huh?
I know! It's largely caused by boat anchors dragging across them, as well as fertilisers and effluent from agriculture. In the last 100 years, around half the UK seagrasses have been lost. The loss of seagrass will also impact our fisheries, threatening the most traditional of British meals, fish and chips. Scampi! Around the Store estuary, seagrasses have seen a 98% reduction in the last 50 years. I know. And what seagrasses we do have left are really patchy and they should be one continuous field. Protecting and restoring the UK seagrass meadows will aid us in the battle against climate change and regenerate wildlife habitats. But as climate change means warmer seas and warmer seas result in damaged seagrass, we all need to do our bit to ensure that seagrasses can recover.
But what can you do to help seagrasses? Well, if you own a boat, use a seagrass-friendly mooring. It's the chain that scours away the seagrass, so make sure the chain is suspended off the seabed using a small buoy. Otherwise, buying organic products supports more sustainable farming methods, and that reduces the amount of fertilisers that get washed into the ocean. And trying to reduce the amount of meat and dairy products you consume is not only healthier for you, but it reduces the amount of animal effluent that gets washed into our waterways.
At the end of the day, seagrasses keep us alive and could help us reduce climate change. It's time we started looking after our seagrass meadows. Oh, I love that video so much, but it's so cringy. So this is Lauren. Lauren is our social media expert, guru, whatever you want to call yourself. She's going to be on YouTube and Facebook, checking out your comments, and we'll check in with her periodically. And we've got to thank, for that video, Project Seagrass and the Seahorse Trust for all their support. It's probably a good point right now actually to say thank you to our funders. So that is the British Ecological Society, the Area of Outstanding Natural Beauty in Suffolk Coast and Heath, Lotto Community Fund, and Suffolk Naturalist Society. So, Lauren.
I never knew about seagrass before this video. Did you? What's your experience with that? Did you know about it before? Because it's mysterious somehow.
Yes, thank you for having me. Yeah, I similarly recently found out about seagrass and how important it is through the work that Project Seagrass are doing to try and restore some of the seagrass off the UK coast, their main project in Pembrokeshire, and looking to try and restore other patches of seagrass. And I thought also, probably like the prawn, it's very strange that we just don't know how important it is or how threatened it is. And so I've really enjoyed learning a little bit more about both of those things, how important it is and what we can be doing to help it not be further threatened. Yeah,
that's really cool. So because of that is why you chose to study it?
Yes, I have studied it as part of my master's course and looked into little bits about other potential restoration of seagrass around the UK, and I think that's definitely something that a lot of charities are looking into. It seems very promising, but definitely there's things that all of us can do in helping it not degrade further. So that's really a nice point about this video.
Yeah, absolutely. Aside from the amazing prawn costume and some seriously top-notch acting, we are available for hire if anyone wants a prawn. So I had a question for Jamie actually, because I've always heard of eelgrass as a concept, but I'd never really heard of seagrass, and I think you probably had a similar vibe. Is there a difference? Are they the same thing?
So it's quite a short answer. There's 4 species of seagrass in the UK, and common eelgrass is one of them, and quite common. I think that's probably the most likely one to see on the store as well.
Okay, cool. And there was another question we had for Jamie,
Yep.
didn't we?
With eels. No, sorry, seagrass.
Yeah.
Apologies, I'm now stuck on eels because of the eelgrass.
Eels come later on in the programme, so keep an eye out.
So what actually does seagrass support?
Well, so as you highlighted in the video, it supports lots of sort of smaller organisms. However, the video highlighted quite well how we are losing a lot of it. When you have it all intact and sort of blanketed, it can support large grazers. So seagrass does cover various aspects around the world, so in those areas it can support turtles. But in the UK, eelgrass is really good at supporting dark-bellied Brent geese, which are migrating from Russia. They should arrive on the Stour Estuary sort of first week of October, on their way now. Nice. And that's one of their favourite foods is eelgrass.
Oh,
that's excellent. Everything comes back to birds, Jamie.
Always.
You're going to very quickly learn throughout these 3 live streams, everything comes back to birds.
Apologies about that.
No, it's fine. Once you get used to it. Right, we've got another video now. This one was made by Frankie. A lot of our young producers wanted to make content about how to reduce your environmental impact, and this is a nice sort of introduction into a series of those that are going to feature throughout all 3 live streams. So yes, Frankie's video about reducing your environmental impact.
Hi, my name is Frankie, and this is my video diary for the week. Oh look, I got metal straw as well.
Oh yeah, they're cool, aren't they? I saw bamboo ones, I think it was, in Tiger.
I will always order vegan food at restaurants when it's available. If there isn't any, then I'll have to get vegetarian food. Or if there isn't any vegetarian food, then I'll have to get pescatarian food. But yeah, I've not eaten meat my entire life. I do eat fish sometimes. I eat eggs sometimes. But in an ideal world, I would just be vegan. But just because of time, you know, I'd have to probably cook my own meals, and also availability of vegan products like cheese, which I really like, but a lot of people seem to hate. But yeah, vegan all the way. I love vegan food. There's a place called Hank's Dirty Vegan, which I get like takeaway vegan food from sometimes. They're pretty good. I like them. And they have shops in Ipswich. They have a supermarket and a pub and a little takeaway place, which is nice. One thing I always have with me in my handbag is a bottle of water. A lot of people have their own bottles of water at school or university or whatever, but I don't think people tend to just carry them around with them day to day. But I find it really helpful because I then, one, don't have to waste time buying water when I'm out. I'm then also not using that single-use plastic that I'm using when I'm outside if I buy water. And it's also just a lot more convenient for me to just have water because, you know, if I'm just going for a walk in the middle of the forest or whatever, there's nowhere to fill up my water. Obviously, there's apps like Refill, but the main place that I've filled up my water bottles when I've been out and about is normally train stations. Train stations normally have a water refill area. It's a bit awkward to just go in a restaurant and just say, can you fill up my bottle? But, you know, sometimes they'll do it, sometimes they won't. Sometimes they'll want you to buy something, won't they? Also with plastic reduction, I always have a canvas bag in my handbag so that I don't have to keep buying, you know, 25p or 10p, whatever, however much it is, you know, bags, especially places in like HMV where they just have, the bags are like £3 for like a canvas bag. You can't just get like a little plastic bag or a paper bag or whatever. One way I reduce the amount of water that I use is by, well, I used to time how long I was in a shower. I'd have like a 5-minute shower or whatever, but then my little timer I got from Angling Water stopped working. So I guess I could have just started using a normal timer from IKEA or whatever, but I just listen to music in the shower anyway, so I've kind of started timing it by songs. I'll listen to, for example, 2 or 3 songs, and then I'll know, okay, I've been in the shower about 5 or 6 minutes, so it's time to get out now.
Go on.
Well, thank you very much, Frankie, for making this. Frankie's back
You're
on
welcome.
the panel. Very fascinating video. I think we can actually all learn a lot from that if we haven't started our own kind of switches in life to help the environment. So I think, first question.
Yeah, I guess, which switch out of all the ones that you've just put there was like the easiest for you to make? Because I think we all go on a bit of a journey with reducing our environmental impact, and you do a little bit here, a little bit there, and it builds up. But some things are harder than others.
Yeah. Well, I didn't realise that other people would just kind of talk about one section, which you'll see later on. So I kind of covered a lot all at once in that video. I guess the easiest thing for me is the food stuff, because I'm so used to not eating meat anyway, because, you know, my parents were vegetarian or pescatarian or whatever, so I've always been brought up without eating meat and not eating a lot of fish or eggs or, you know, animal products in general. So I guess it's just easier for me to do that on a daily basis because I'm kind of used to it.
So which was the hardest? That's a difficult question, isn't it? How do you measure the difficulty of this?
The thing is, they're all kind of, it's quite subjective because, like, you know, eating meat for me is probably easier than someone that's eaten meat their entire life and is used to eating meat all the time. So they probably struggle to eat mostly like vegetarian or vegan food like I do. So it kind of depends.
Yeah, for sure.
Up
I don't know.
to each person.
Yeah, no,
I
you
think
struggle with the meat thing, and I struggle with eggs.
I struggle with
so
milk
much.
too. Yeah, I think it is just how you're brought up. Potentially, if you're in a vegetarian family or in a vegan family, it's a lot easier. But obviously, I think everyone should make their own choices with it.
Well, but it's not like people can't make that choice. It's just like, if you're used to eating meat or whatever, then it's like you, I don't know, it's just more difficult to change.
Yeah, for sure.
Because there might not necessarily be a reason of like, oh, I want to be more healthy, or I want to eat less meat for this reason or this reason. You know, for me the reason is like, when I actually eat meat, sometimes it makes me ill because I'm not used to eating it, so I actually can't eat meat now.
Yeah.
Even if I wanted to.
I think it's very situational, because some people, you might not have certain things available to you. So when I was at uni, I was really broke, and so I barely bought meat, and I was basically vegetarian. So I think in different stages of life it might change, or if you live in a different country where you don't get particular foods so easily. I think that's kind of the case.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a cultural thing, and we shouldn't be changing people's cultures. I also think there are more ethical ways to consume meat if you don't want to give it up than just buying £4 chicken from Tesco.
Yeah.
Other supermarkets are available.
Buy locally.
But yeah, and we've actually got a amazing cooking video from Jamie later, haven't we?
Yeah.
Vegan, chili. How easy was that to source? Do you know what? Actually,
really nice.
We'll save that question for later.
Yeah.
Looks good though. Looks good.
Nice.
What else was there that we wanted to?
We have an open question.
Oh yeah.
Which is asking, how do we measure our environmental impact?
Yeah, so this one is actually for the comments, and I'm gonna bring Laura on in a second actually. But we've just talked about like tons of different ways that we can reduce our environmental impact, but which
might have the
which
biggest?
has the biggest impact, and how do we measure that? And I know Lauren's doing an environmental management masters. She's off camera. I'm just like, she's on camera. I'm doing an environmental management masters, and a lot of that is trying to measure our environmental impact, and you try to quantify it in numbers or in money or something like that, and it's so hard to do. So to the audience, that's your question. How do we measure it? Let us know.
Is that like carbon footprint and things like that then?
Yeah, I think so. What do you think of what you did reduced your environmental impact the most? Do you think it's probably the meat thing?
Yeah, I don't know, because I haven't done, like, you've probably done a lot of research into stuff like this and I haven't, so I could just be talking a load of rubbish. But I think with food, I'm not really sure how it goes, whether it's like the food production process is, worse for the environment in quotation marks, rather than the transport. I think it tends to be the transport which is actually worse for it, because you've got your like tomatoes from Spain or Italy or wherever.
Yeah,
I think that's a really good point, and I think that was sort of an outcome of the last time we had a festival and we talked about food in a live stream. It was like the transportation issues are actually one of the biggest impacts.
Yeah,
like tomatoes coming from Morocco and stuff, although we're very lucky here in Suffolk in that we grow a lot of food. We were talking about it the other day, asparagus, onions, beets, sugar beets, all that kind of thing. So we've got a lot of really good local food.
Yeah.
All right, Lauren, what's going down on social media? Has anyone commented whether it's Stour or Store yet?
Can you hear me okay? Yeah.
I think so.
We haven't had any opinions on Stour or Store, but we've had some responses to Frankie's video. Some really nice compliments for you there, and there's a bit of discussion on what's hard, what's easy to help your environmental impact. So one comment: everything being wrapped in plastic is so frustrating, really hard to avoid, which I'm sure we can all
definitely
relate to. And then another comment that going vegetarian or vegan is quite hard in terms of a change in energy when you're getting used to it, but I think probably from someone who has taken a similar journey there and is trying to reduce their environmental impacts, that's really nice to read. Thank you for all the comments so far.
Awesome. Yeah, keep chatting in the comments and we'll check in with you guys periodically. We do have a video later on, don't we, about how you can change what soap you're using in order to be more environmentally friendly, and I think we'll talk a bit about plastic with that, especially since this one is under the water and we all know plastic pollution is a really big ocean issue, a river issue. What was there anything else left? We
just have a question for the audience, just for your best environmental switches.
Oh yeah, okay. In the comments, stick that in. What's your favourite environmental switch, or a swap C, as someone said to me the other day. For the C's, swap C.
Nice. Do you have any?
Oh my God, I'm just not prepared for that question. I really like using shampoo bars
That's
instead of bottles. Yeah, what about you?
I think we recently got those sponges, those natural sponges, where you get 12 for a whole year, and you can put them in the washing machine, and they're really like sturdy, and they're just so nice.
And you can in the shower?
In the for washing up dishes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then I think you can rip them up and put them in your compost, which is great.
Oh,
and they
that's
just
excellent.
really
what
cool.
What about you, Jamie?
Just quite easy with just the bamboo toothbrush, I think.
Bamboo toothbrush, yeah.
Simple, easy, everyone can do it.
Yeah, for sure.
They're not too expensive as well, though. I mean, you can, it's
very accessible.
Very accessible. So we're all about trying to make this stuff accessible to everyone. Right, what's next?
I think we've got eels next.
Eel video. Let's go to Flatford.
Oh.
There's a creature that swims from this mill in rural Suffolk to the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
And it does this by dissolving its own stomach.
If you're lucky enough to live near a clean river, then you might be able to see an elver. That's the proper name for a baby eel, and an awesome pub quiz question. As predators and scavengers, eels just hang out in rivers feeding on fish, fish eggs, dead things and insects.
Dead things? Nice. They can also live a surprisingly long time. The oldest eel ever found was 85 years old. But eels have baffled scientists for hundreds of years because they don't appear to have any sex organs. So how do eels reproduce? Aristotle, he believed that eels were formed from earthworms, which in turn were formed from mud.
We now know that eels are semelparous.
Semelparous.
Which means they reproduce once and die soon afterwards. Once the time is right, an eel will begin a metamorphosis, like a butterfly, and slowly it dissolves its stomach and digestive organs, replacing them with the sex organs it needs to reproduce.
It then swims from the river to the Sargasso Sea in the middle of the North Atlantic Ocean. This journey of over 3,000 miles can take the eel up to 10 months, and it does it using fat reserves alone. Surviving fishing boats, power stations and predators, the adult eels are thought to synchronise their arrival in the Sargasso Sea using the moon. Laying up to 10 million eggs, the parent eels then die, leaving the eggs to fend for themselves.
The elvers hatch and grow around 3 centimetres a year as they slowly work their way back towards Europe using the Gulf Stream current to help them. 3 years later, they find a river to call them their home and start the journey upstream to begin the cycle again.
Eels have been a British food for hundreds of years, traditionally eaten by folks in East London where they were cheap and readily available in the 1800s. But unfortunately, eel numbers have fallen by 95% in the last 25 years alone, and the European eel is now classified as critically endangered. As well as pollution and overfishing, the main reason for their decline is dams and weirs along rivers which prevent them from swimming upstream. While eels are amazing climbers and can even crawl over land, these obstructions prevent them from getting upstream to the habitat they want.
As their numbers have dwindled, they have become a highly sought-after delicacy in Asia and Russia, where 1 kilo of elvers reaches £1,000 on the black market. With an illegal trade worth over £3 billion a year, the European eel is now the most trafficked animal in the world. Luckily, there's a solution. Dams and weirs can include an eel pass. This is a small artificial stream that runs next to the weir that is lined with broom bristles to help the eels climb upstream.
And the good news is, they're working. A recent study saw the number of eels in East Anglia reach a 12-year high, a sign that eel passes are working. That's really good. Really good.
Really good.
video, Lauren. So that was filmed at Flatford, which I think anyone that grew up in Suffolk has almost definitely been there on a geography field trip. So everyone should know where that is. But isn't it like that first shot where you were sat in front of the house? That's a really famous
painting. Yeah, well.
Yeah?
Yeah, let's ask Jamie. Jamie knows.
Jamie knows.
Yes, I grew up right nearby, so that Flatford is Constable country. So the artist was John Constable, and the familiar scene is where he painted the hay wain.
Nice.
What, okay.
The hay wain. It's you can see it in the National Art Gallery. It's a fantastic painting.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a name drop for Suffolk.
That's a big name drop.
Big name drop.
Excellent. Okay, cool, fine.
The main question that we have is just how was it making the video?
Yeah, it was really nice to go to Flatford. I always really enjoy going to that part, and we had a lovely day. But for me, the significance of it for eels, I didn't realise until we went to make the video, and so it was really great to hear that there's some really positive things happening in Suffolk and have a nice positive outcome at the end of the video there, to learn a little bit more about how awareness is growing and how things are really happening there at Flatford.
Yeah, because we went to try and find a different eel ladder, didn't we? Somewhere down near you, Manningtree?
Oh, right, near Catawade Bridge.
Somewhere, yeah, down that way, and we couldn't find it.
Yeah.
So we went and found the one at Flatford, which was a little bit further out of the way. But yeah, that was a good trip. I think we were all really shocked of learning about the eels' journey.
Yeah.
And how far they go.
And how they can come over land as well if they have to.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty terrifying somehow.
Yeah.
That is a mental fact that they can go over land. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, and they can go up ladders.
Oh, yeah.
Nuts. I have a question for Ecology Corner.
Okay.
How can you tell the age of an eel?
Okay, so the honest answer is I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
My guess is I would imagine it's pigmentation. So I'm assuming that when they hatch in the Sargasso Sea, I assume they're like translucent glass eels. And I assume that when they made it to sort of estuaries, they develop layers of pigmentation, which is when they become elvers. That's my guess. I do not 100% know. So if anyone in the comments does know, please call me out on it.
Let us know. Let us know.
Thank you. That makes sense in my head. I believe
it made sense to mine too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sargasso Sea sounds so exotic. Group trip?
Where is it again?
Yeah,
where's the Sargasso Sea?
Yeah, that was closer to the US. They have a really mammoth journey. They're more glamorous than we first thought, I think.
They've gone to places I haven't
glamorous
been.
lifestyle.
Yeah.
Really.
I think group outing. Yeah. Who's coming in the comments? We're going to the Sargasso Sea. Let us know your thoughts on the eels' migration journey, and do you think you could do it? No, I'm kidding.
Strong swimmers.
Fantastic. Okay, should we move on?
Yeah.
Yeah, the next one is all about, wait for it, the leathery sea squirt. If you've heard of it before, put it in the comments. 10 points to you if you've heard of it before. Very impressed. Let's play the video.
There be alien invaders here in these waters.
No, seriously, there are. We're at Felixstowe Port on the mouth of the River Stour, and around 3,000 ships come into the port each year. But it is not just containers that they deliver.
Many ships here bring along alien stowaways from faraway waters. You see, the ships have to take on ballast water to stabilise themselves against waves on long crossings. But to do this, they have to draw in vast quantities of seawater and whatever happens to be in that seawater. They then sail across the globe, but before coming into port, they release all the ballast water, including any creatures that it might contain. Creatures can also stick to the hulls of ships and hitch a ride and then drop off in port.
Away from their normal geographical ranges, these new alien species can quickly spread as they don't have any natural predators. They also compete with species that are already here for space, food, light and other resources. One such invasive species is the leathery sea squirt. It originally came from the seas around the Korean peninsula and arrived in Plymouth in the 50s, brought over in the hulls of warships following the Korean War. Since then, it's slowly spread around most of the coast in the UK.
These sea squirts might look like weird alien eggs, but strangely enough, we're actually related to them. As weird as they look, you, me, and Squirty here are all chordates, so we all share common evolutionary features, including a central nervous cord and a tail. Sea squirts use their tail to attach themselves to hard surfaces underwater, while your tail is your coccyx or your tailbone, which is used to inflict pain when you fall on your butt. As chordates, sea squirts also have pharyngeal slits, which they use to filter food from water. You used to have pharyngeal slits before you were born, but as you grew, those slits closed and became your pharynx, the tissues that are inside your nose and your mouth.
So what's the problem with Squirty? Well, they are super adaptable and they can live at a wide range of temperatures and salinities, so live in estuaries and seawater. As they grow, they biofoul or stick to underwater structures, equipment and boats, so they need to be cleaned off regularly. They also compete with native species such as oysters and mussels for food and space. In Canada, this sea squirt caused the collapse of the mussel farming industry. Few animals are adapted to feed on sea squirts, so they just keep on spreading.
The leathery sea squirt can now be found in North America, Australia, New Zealand and across Europe. And as more ships come in, they bring with them more and more and more invasive species. Such as... Yeah! Sea spiders!
Slipper limpets!
Australasian barnacles. We take it in turns.
Sorry!
Australasian barnacle.
American jackknife clam. Soft-shelled clam. Sargassum whaleweed! So what can you do to stop the spread of this invasive species? Well, firstly, if you have fishing equipment or a boat, make sure you clean and dry it between moving from one water body to another. Secondly, get foraging. Not many people know that you can actually eat sea squirts. In many Asian countries, sea squirts are added to rice dishes to bring in subtle ocean flavours, much like an oyster. And many other invasive marine species are also edible, but please check online beforehand and harvest only from clean waters. Thank you so much to Russell for being part of that video. Unfortunately, he is our ocean expert and he couldn't be here today. But yeah, the interpretive dancing, we were just saying.
Yeah, I love it.
People say you can't combine your passions. Well, I say try harder. That thing's really ugly, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hideous. It looks really like a science fiction, like alien embryo vibe.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to meet it. How big are they? Does it?
Like, I think about this, but don't call me on it, Jamie.
I wouldn't have a clue. This is a
I've
whole
never
new
seen
species
one.
for me. So,
Yeah.
They look like they could be a lot bigger and disgusting.
I think there's things that this size.
I don't know. I was like imagining this size, like a head.
No, I don't think
That's
so.
good.
Don't think
Still
so.
gross.
Still gross.
Yeah.
What I love is it's one of the best ways that we can sort of tackle this issue is by eating them, and obviously they eat them in Asia quite a lot. And I think I want to eat one of those.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of seafood in general, but it's even worse if it's looking like that.
Put it in the comments. Would you eat a leathery sea squirt? We've just spent all this time talking about cutting out meat, but maybe if it's foraged, that's a bit better for the environment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Do we have any questions about the eels, Lauren?
Do you want to come sit? Come sit.
Yeah, sit.
Go on then.
Yes, thank you. We're having quite a few comments come through on social media about all the different things that we've been talking today. We've had quite a few compliments. We've had compliments on the interpretive dance. So well done. And
that was Grace. Thanks, Grace.
And also compliments on all the nice science that's going into these videos. It's really been informative. People fascinated by the work of Project Seagrass and how they can support seagrass, and also follow-up questions about the eel video. Why do they need to migrate to the Sargasso Sea?
Do you know what, that sounds like a question for Jamie.
Well, I think it's hardwired. Many species migrate, and it's just an instinct from when they're born. So a good example I think of is many amphibians naturally go back to the pond they were born in, and I think that could be a very similar thing with the eels, possibly.
Okay, so they go there to mate.
Yeah, lay eggs,
all that jazz.
Reproduce, and then when they hatch, I imagine they just hardwired to migrate again.
All the way back.
Like a honeymoon.
Like a honeymoon.
We've also had a comment saying that I've heard a lot of invasive species end up being eaten. Although that's not so popular in the comments. Some people not sure they could eat a leathery sea squirt.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're all in agreement in that case. Maybe one day. Things get popular again, don't they? Like, personally, I wouldn't eat an eel now, but like we saw in the eel video, people used to eat them all the time.
Yeah. Diets change.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all for it. I mean, eating invasive species is fantastic. I mean, they are such a biosecurity risk, and countries pay so much money in trying to remove them. If we could just start eating them,
so explain
problem solved.
What a biosecurity risk means.
So it's when something kind of can take hold and you just can't get rid of it. So New Zealand's the best at this. They've got, every time they've had an invasive species, they've always been very good at eradicating it. So when I think of some sort of plant species in the UK, like Himalayan balsam, which comes into rivers and you have to manually pull it out. It's so hard to get rid of.
Why is it not good in the rivers?
So it just takes up the river. It becomes the dominant species. It doesn't let other sort of plants, organisms come in. So the idea of biosecurity is you've got measures in place to try and prevent these invasive species from coming in. So when I think about in Suffolk, when we look at Felixstowe docks, that's just a great pathway for a new invasive species to get introduced.
Yep.
So I'm not familiar with the biosecurity in the UK, but I know New Zealand's the best at it. So if anyone wants to have a Google at New Zealand, they're doing it right.
So we're getting rid of plants in order to encourage more diverse plants.
Well, we're trying to get rid of one plant that isn't native here. So you can get, I mean, it can get quite complicated. You can get invasive species which are native, but I like the term alien invasive species, which is a species that doesn't belong here and it's not really doing any good for us.
Alien invasive species. Put that one in your notebooks, gang. Write that down, because that might be useful later on. Didn't you say you thought that the leathery sea squirt looked like an alien? What was it?
Embryo. Yeah, I feel like I've seen it in like horrible science fiction films, and I don't know, like alien. I don't know, like an alien, like in one of those.
Something out of Doctor Who.
Oh yeah, like Doctor Who for sure.
I can vibe with that. It'd be like clinging on to the outside of the TARDIS or something.
Ugh.
What else is going down? Was that everything?
Well, another comment, I didn't know Suffolk had so much wildlife. That's really, I guess, something that we're going to continue looking at, keep looking at the different species to come. And a little bit back on our environmental impacts, feeding back into this, someone switched to toothpaste in a glass jar to try and avoid plastic.
That exists?
Yeah, there's also toothpaste tabs.
See, Gina uses these. You might be able to hear Gina off camera. You use toothpaste tabs, don't you?
I've switched to paste in a jar.
Oh, okay, so you've gone for the glass jar as well now.
I feel like the tabs are probably good for travel, because you don't have to put them in your liquids bag if you're flying anywhere.
Yeah. Liquids at airports. I've got to say, you did lend me some when I came here like a couple of months ago, and they like powder it in your mouth, and then you have to like mix it with your saliva in order to make the toothpaste.
Oh wow.
I was like, oh god, this is really, really strange. So it takes some getting used to.
Yep, you get used to it, and also I've changed because they don't make them for sensitive teeth. To the others.
Well, there's a takeaway from that. Look after your teeth.
Yeah.
Not a takeaway we were expecting to have from this live stream. But there we go. Everything? We good?
That's It looks like they're going to keep coming in, so definitely I'll keep you updated.
Cool, fab.
I have a slight question. It's not super relevant, but with non-native species, like for muntjac aren't native to England, are they?
Oh, hang on, hold. Muntjac, right?
Oh wait, sorry.
Tiny deer.
Yeah.
Muntjac is a tiny deer.
Just got to clarify for everyone because I wasn't entirely 100%.
Yeah.
All right.
And I suppose I could talk more about muntjac in the later video in the stream when it comes to turtle doves, because they are really bad. They decimate scrub, which is really wicked. Has a knock-on effect. Nightingales are in massive decline in the UK, and a lot of that's from overgrazing from muntjac. And muntjac also reproduce incredibly quickly.
Yeah.
I think it's something like youngsters are sexually mature after 3 months, and then they can reproduce again. However, I've been told that the meat is fantastic, so that might be a great way of getting rid of muntjac numbers, maybe to eat them. I'm not going to advocate it if you're vegetarian or vegan, obviously, but it's a great way of getting rid of unwanted species, which cost us the money.
It goes back to what we were saying, doesn't it, about there is more ethical ways to consume meat than what a lot of people already do. I think maybe we put that comment into context slightly. If you want to come back at 6 o'clock, we have a live stream, and there will be a turtle dove video featured. And where was I going with that train of thought? Oh yeah, we will talk about the importance of scrub as a habitat and how muntjac do destroy it. They are cute though.
No.
Yeah, they are.
They sound horrible. They bark. I just don't like it.
Do they?
Yeah, they bark at night. It's awful.
Bark like a dog. It's like a dog bark.
Yeah.
It's very similar. Yeah.
Horrible.
We've done a lot of talking about animal sounds. We were talking about tawny owls last. I've gone off track, but we were talking about the tawny. Can you do the tawny owl screech for me?
No, that's barn owl's the screech.
Oh, is it barn owl's the screech?
Tawny owl's the twit twoo.
Oh.
Barn owl's the screech like a banshee.
Go on, do it.
No, I'm not doing it. No.
Ian, do the barn owl screech.
I can't do a barn owl screech.
Oh.
Well, my voice is too deep. I can't get high enough. You see.
Okay.
You could try.
We heard them last night, didn't we? I don't know what yeah. Anyway, what other invasive species do we have in Suffolk? Just real quick.
Oh, wow. Right, you've really put me on the spot. There's just so many.
What's the first one that comes to mind?
Himalayan balsam is one. The other one that comes to mind is piri burr. This is I can't remember where it's from, but it's like a spike. Piri burr. It's like a spiky plant.
Burr.
I think it's like BUR. I think.
Isn't it?
I know some nature reserves locally to the area in North Suffolk treat for that annually because it gets over their lowland grassland quite a lot.
Are all like non-native species? Are they all invasive? Not all of them are they?
No. Some non-native species aren't invasive. It's really you've got to assess how much ecological damage it's doing, and that takes a lot of surveys, and it also takes a lot of data. It takes years to build up a picture of how bad something is.
Yeah, I can imagine.
We actually have a question on social media. Are there any examples of beneficial non-native species?
Oh, that's really good.
We might. Do we need to come back to you?
Can I be biased?
You can be biased. It's your opinion.
I'm a massive sort of bird nerd, so little owl is non-native, and they are very, very cute. And I'd encourage everyone to go see a little owl.
How big's a little owl?
They're tiny. They are tiny.
And
They're our smallest owl. Yeah, they're our smallest owl. So I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean they're not harmful because they obviously are feeding on our native species. However, they are just incredibly cute, and I love them.
Where can we go in Suffolk to see little owls?
I actually seen them at Flatford. Flatford was obviously featured in the earlier video. I have seen them at Flatford before.
Oh, okay, amazing. I think it's probably worth saying at this point. We are the aim of this was to talk about different species and their linked ecology. What's the word I'm looking for?
Concepts. Thank you.
Within the extension to this sort of area of outstanding natural beauty that we have in Suffolk. The extension does include the Essex coastline of the Stour, and we do use both sort of synonymously, Stour and Suffolk. So sometimes when we say things, some of our videos probably have been filmed in Essex. Don't call us out on it, please. In the comments, what invasive species do you know? What's your favourite? What's your favourite owl? I don't care. Chat with us. Say everything. That would be great.
Jamie, can I just follow up with one question about the little owl from the comments? We've had someone who's seen one but didn't realise they weren't native. Where are they from?
I have no idea.
Oh.
They are non-native originally, but they've been in the country for a long time.
Okay.
I feel like Ian from Mr. Rowlands might know the answer to that if he could shout it at me.
bird expert over there, Mr. Rowlands?
They are brought across from France.
France.
There you go, from France.
Thank you very much for that question. It's good to have some interactions going on online there.
Nice.
Actually, I want to follow this up now because we've gone on to birds, Jamie. Now we're stuck on birds.
I'm okay with that.
We've got
That's
the
fine with me.
bird.
We've got the bird stream later. We're supposed to be under the water. Okay, no, I saved the question for later. In that case, I have a better question. What's the best thing you've seen on or under the water in Suffolk?
Right now I'm doing my dissertation for university. I'm watching a lot of cormorants, and at the moment
Back on birds again, Jamie.
yeah, but no, hang on. They dive underwater.
They dive.
And I'm watching them catch eels, which is quite fascinating. So when they are specialists at catching eels, and it's quite the eel tries to defend itself by wrapping itself around the bill so it can't get eaten.
Oh wow.
So that's been my favourite kind of under the water bird thing.
And that's the same eel that we are talking about.
Yep, same eel. Yeah, European eel.
God.
Can we tell them to stop because they're very special?
I mean, what's interesting, I'm watching them on a lake though, so these eels must have crossed. They've at some point have crossed from the Orwell estuary into a lake.
Okay.
Wow.
Gosh.
What about you? Have you seen any ocean animals or river animals? Lakes?
Not really. I don't know. I go to the sea more often, and I kind of stop going to the sea when the jellyfish come.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I get really freaked out. Even though I can't remember who told me, but I'm sure somebody here knows that they don't sting.
Not all of them.
Not all of them.
The moon, is it the moon jellyfish doesn't sting, and we get that one a lot along this coastline.
You know more about jellies than I do.
I think it was the moon. The moon. Well, we call them jellies, not jellyfish, because they aren't fish. Everybody, they are not fish.
It's another one of those, the seagull.
Yeah, we'll get onto that later. What about you, Lauren?
Oh, the first thing that popped to my mind was birds, so I better not. You think of the water, you think of the bird life that lives along the water.
Because the English water, British water seems to be not very clear, so we can't really see what's going on underneath, I'd say, personally. My experience.
We saw, okay, I've got two great stories here. We were at Felixstowe Ferry, weren't we? This is about a year ago now, maybe? And we saw a grey seal, and that made me very, very happy.
Oh yeah.
Really, that's a really good place if you like marine mammals. Felixstowe Ferry.
Recently, Aldborough Beach, there was a dead porpoise.
Really?
Yeah, washed up on the beach.
Oh
I'd never seen a porpoise in my life. I was like, that's a really weird seal, but it wasn't. It was just I don't even know what a porpoise is actually, but
most of the times we see them, they're dead and washed up. Porpoises are like a smaller dolphin. They've got like a stubbier snout, flatter teeth, and they use that to grind up crustaceans. They have different diets.
And you can revert that back to plastics. A lot of the carcasses that are found are obviously being checked for microplastic build-up and things like that, and that is an issue for dolphins, porpoises.
Big issue, as well as like all the big trawling fishing boats.
Yeah.
They're a really big issue as well. And the other story I was going to say was actually when we were all here in August filming a lot of this content, we were down swimming on Aldborough Beach. Obviously, we're in Aldborough right now, it's probably worth saying. So the best place we could live stream from it is in the area of outstanding natural beauty, although not in the extension on the store. So that's an important differentiation to make. We went swimming, didn't we? And Russell, who you saw in one of those videos, is doing a PhD in plankton. He's a plankton expert. And we all take things Russell says with a little pinch of salt. So when he was like, it's perfect conditions for like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Plankton bloom?
Oh.
Yeah, there's a plankton bloom, and it's perfect conditions to see bioluminescent plankton, which is plankton that glows in the dark, people. And we all went, Russell, you're chatting rubbish. Don't believe you, absolutely not. He was like, at midnight, I'm going to go back to the beach and swim and see if there's bioluminescent plankton. You remember this. And I went to bed, we all went to bed. He goes down to the beach, full of bioluminescent plankton. He said it was literally surrounding him like a blanket. And he was like picking up handfuls of water and spraying it. And you could see the light bounce over the water as the droplets did. I swear to God, I think all of us.
So jealous. So annoyed that we didn't go.
Why did we go to sleep?
He said that he was literally, when he was swimming through it underwater, it was like daylight, which is pretty crazy. Yeah. It's mad. And I used his tips of the whole not too windy, warm day, the water has to be calm. Yeah. And it was one of those days, and I was at the beach with some friends, and I was like, this sounds like perfect conditions for bioluminescence. And we ended up going to a little beach in Bordsey East Lane, and we were walking around. It was pitch black at night, and we were like, "Oh, we can't see it in the water." And then we get onto kind of the loamy type of area, and wherever we're stepping, we kind of see like an outline of our feet, and then like we see little rock pools where there's crabs walking around. The crab is illuminated, so it was really cool. So I'm glad I got to see it at some point. In Bordsey.
Bordsey?
Yeah.
I need to go there. That's amazing. Yeah. We could do a whole other live stream on animals that glow in the dark, because we had a glowworm that day as well, didn't we, in the garden, like literally right here. Yeah. Anyway, anything else on social media, or should we get on?
Some very shocked emojis. That's a great comment. Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Well, our next video is from one of our young producers. It's a reducing your environmental impact video. I can't see anything without these glasses on. It's from Hazel, and she's talking about switching out soap for more environmentally friendly options. Hazel was meant to get here, was stuck on trains all morning, and we were really hoping, we reordered it so hers was last, because we thought she'd get here for 1 and she'd make it on time. She has yet to walk in the front door. But this video is 4.5 minutes long, so she could walk in the front door in the next 4.5 minutes, and we can have a chat to her about it. Who knows? That's why we've all been chatting so long. We're buying ourselves time. So yeah, Josh, when you're ready, let's watch Hazel's video all about soap.
Hello, I am Hazel. I'm a first-year student at university, and I live in Woodbridge. Hand washing seems such a normal part of our day, and you never really put much thought into it. But if you wash your hands on average like 6 times a day, and even more recently, then that adds up to 2,190 times in a year, which is a lot. And this leads to an accumulation of 1 billion plastic soap bottles needing to be disposed of. This creates a huge environmental problem with trying to find ways to dispose of plastic safely in a way that's not going to harm the environment, especially because as of 2018, only 9% of all the plastic in the world had been recycled. We have 3 sinks in our house, and this sink, we have a single-use plastic bottle of liquid soap. People seem to prefer liquid soap to bar soap, but bar soap actually is better at cleaning your hands. Although this always seems like the more convenient option buying this, there are some better alternatives. But if you do use these, then you have to make sure that you recycle them properly, because 44% of people in our country do this wrong, because the dispenser lid can't be recycled, so you have to take that off in the bin, and then you have to wash out your soap bottle before you recycle it. That's a much better way of recycling it. So now we are at soap number 2. So if you prefer using liquid soap for your hand washing, then get a reusable soap dispenser. This one's made out of ceramic, but you can get really cheap ones made out of glass from Tesco, which is really good because glass is very easily recycled because it's not a mixture of lots of different glasses. And then you can fill your really beautiful soap dispenser up that you can use for the rest of your life with a big bag of soap. And this is good, firstly, because you can buy enough soap for a longer period of time in one go, so it's more convenient. You can get lovely flavoured soap still, like we have. It uses 77% less plastic than if I'd have bought 2 bottles of this soap, so that's a lot less plastic. And it actually works out cheaper, price per millilitre on Tesco. And I'm sure that's probably the same for other shops as well, because you're buying more of it, so it's more like get it at a cheaper price. And then you can be protected from all the germs. This is our last soap. So this is soap number 3 at our last sink. So bar soaps are really good for a lot of different reasons. They're actually a really cheap way of getting soap because you can get bars for like 15 pence. Well, I guess it just depends on how big the soap is. But yeah, they tend to last like 6 to 8 weeks on average, depending on how vigorously you wash your hands. And if you let it dry between times of using the soap, then you're going to use less because you don't get as much off it. So it's a really cheap alternative. It's shown that they have been declining in use, but they are just as effective at washing your hands. They use 20 times less packaging than the soap dispenser bottles. Some of them are still plastic and some of the plastic isn't recyclable, so obviously that's not good, but you can get ones in recycled packets. Like I have shampoo, which is in just a cardboard box, so that's easily recyclable, and you can get them with no packaging as well. However, it always seems to be that the ones with the recycled packaging are that little bit more expensive, or the ones that are like made with actual natural products or local and stuff like that, and I think that's always a massive barrier for quite a lot of people to like getting the sustainable one. But getting a bar of soap rather than a dispenser bottle has a 25% less carbon footprint than if you didn't, so it's still like good in that respect as well.
Oh my goodness, so in the last 30 seconds Hazel walked in the door. Say hi to everyone at home, Hazel.
Hello.
Oh, she's not mic'd up or anything, so yeah, this camera here, sorry. We're literally going to learn as we go along. We love live streams, we love live, it's fantastic. Why did you want to highlight soap in that video?
I don't know, it's just we use it all the time and you don't ever really think about it, and then some things I think you can really just like take for granted and just overlook, and it's something that is kind of, we all use it, and something so easy that you can just change by just looking at a different product in the supermarket.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a really good point. We were talking about shops. Someone made a good point about shops.
Yeah, there's like zero waste shops. Do you get yours from? Is in the supermarket the packet that you get, or is it in kind of a zero waste shop or online?
No, I just got it. We get like the refill ones online because you can get like bigger ones if you order them.
Yeah.
But I just get mine from normal supermarkets because they tend to be cheaper than like the zero waste ones. And but the ones from zero waste, they tend to like have less packaging on them, which is better. But I feel like even if you get just like a bar of soap instead of a dispenser, then that's something. Like I think it's about the small changes rather than doing the massive things.
Yeah, and I think whatever is easiest for you to actually do, kind of thing, in your situation.
Yeah.
And I think also bar soaps make really good presents. That's how I've been using bar soaps so much recently. It's just because people give you really nice ones and they feel so good in your hands.
They're easy to make as well, aren't
Really?
they? Yeah, I think so. Well, I see a lot of TikToks of people making soap for their small businesses.
Nice.
Is the shop in Woodbridge? There's a plastic-free shop in Woodbridge?
There is.
Who lives in Woodbridge?
I live in Woodbridge.
You live in... Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah? Is it good?
Yeah, I've been in there a couple of times. I like things like that because they're always like so like homemade and like they always smell really good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Not sponsored by, but hopefully soon.
Yeah.
Shout out Woodbridge Eco Refill. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, I don't know.
we don't even know their name. We're getting them sponsored.
I'll put a link in the thing for later in the description or something like that, probably, hopefully. Anyway, we brought you guys back because we were like, we don't have Hazel to chat to, but here we all are. I can't remember, what were we going to chat to these guys about?
I think just switches and
yeah.
I've got some questions in the comments, for actually one for each of you. Someone would like to know, Frankie, how long you have been making films. I'll give you this.
It's alright, I got it.
May I have to be closer?
I'll just hold it here. We're all good.
It's kind of difficult to answer because I've been making videos since I was like 12 on my like Sony Ericsson flip phone, and then I had an iPod. I used this free app called Splice to just cut clips together of me and my brother like wearing stupid costumes and like smashing his barnacle in his bedroom with a football. It depends what, you know, it's like films, videos, YouTube videos, but you know, I've been doing this for a while, and hopefully someday making films and stuff might be my job.
Hire her. Thank you. Because you went and studied it at uni.
Sorry?
So you went and studied film at uni?
Yeah, I just graduated with a 2-1 from the University of Suffolk on digital film production.
Oh, well done.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I'm still waiting for my graduation. It's in a few weeks, I think.
Oh, lucky.
Lovely. How about River? How long have you been making music for? Have we asked that?
I guess it's kind of the same as Frankie's. if you do music or if you do anything creative, I think the answer will always be, I've been doing this since I could speak. I've been doing this since I could walk. Oh, I was singing before I was speaking.
ABBA song, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was a singer before I could talk, or
Thank you for the music. Yeah. But it's really seemed to pick up in the past few years when I've realised that it's what I want to do forever. But yeah, music has always been how I communicate.
Nice.
Amazing.
And do you find that that wild creatures or these wild spaces often inspire your music?
By wild creatures, I think the wild creatures that most inspire my music are humans.
Ooh.
The wildest, most savage animals. I think also the natural environment, wildlife, especially sort of soundscapes like rain or calm mornings or snow, is hard not to, because weather and visuals of nature are so much part of our life, especially living in a rural area. And I'm always excited about trying to portray calmness or storminess in music. But people, I think, are the animals that are most challenging to write about and most exciting to write about.
Good answer.
Really good answer.
Yeah. Was there anything else on social media, Lauren?
Well, actually, it started a lot of comments about the soap video. We've had Russell confessing to being an unwashed hippie, not using shampoo, body wash or deodorant for almost 2 years.
Oh wow. I've heard that's quite a good thing. People like washing their hair, like it cleans itself and those kinds of things. Well done, Russell.
Whereas other people in the comments have thanking you for the reminder to switch to bar soap, or convinced by your arguments for bar soap. So yeah, definitely you've started a lot of people thinking in the comments there, Hazel.
I did go on holiday and it was like for 2 weeks, and the showers were so bad, like they were just unusable, and so I just didn't wash my hair, and I went swimming so much and my hair was so nice by the end of it. Yeah, I think it's like the natural oils or something. But
this is it, it's putting like unnatural products in our hair is not necessarily the way to go, is it? But it's always really difficult to tell which ones are okay and which ones aren't, and I don't really...
And they give them all natural names like aloe vera and stuff, and you look at the ingredients, it's just all these chemicals you can't pronounce.
Moroccan argan oil. I say that as a proud Moroccan. Yeah.
We have a question relating to bars of soap though from Luke online, wondering whether it's more or less clean using a bar of soap, whether it's true that germs live on bars of soap.
I did look it up because that seems to like deter people from wanting to use bar soaps, and it said that they were actually better than liquid soaps. So. Wow. But I guess the whole point of soap is to clean the germs, so then surely if there's any germs on it, then they just die because the soap is killing them.
Self-cleaning. Self-cleaning. Again, I keep going back to pop culture references, but isn't there like a scene in Friends where like Chandler and Joey realised they were both using the same bar of soap, and the comment is, think about the first thing you wash and the last thing I wash. Which I probably shouldn't have brought up. Anyway, anything else, Lauren?
That's most of the comments are now about soap. I think that's going to start some thinking online, definitely.
Amazing. And you two, having seen all the videos that we've done as part of this live stream today, which one stands out? What were you most surprised by? Actually, well, you've not been here to watch them all, but similar question, Hazel.
I'm really excited about the prospect of thinking about soap. I mean, it sounds so boring. I'm already in a fortunate position to be able to be vegan, so that was a really nice. That video is a really nice reminder of why we do it and how beneficial it is. But soap and hygiene and showers, definitely not something that I've thought about much. And I did, there was a period of my life over lockdown where I tried to stop washing my hair. And I did it for about 3 months, and my hair was so nice, so good. when I got back to school, I did start washing it again, but it has convinced me that maybe this is the time to get back into the self-cleaning regime.
I was going to say something about soap.
Because really fixated on birds and soap today.
Yeah.
If it's not one, it's the other.
I think sometimes with like environment stuff, you know, obviously sometimes it's about like taking a small step rather than a big step. I think something that I talked about when I was talking about like going vegan and stuff, I think a lot of people go from like eating meat for like a lot of meals or almost every meal to then like, oh, I'm going to be vegan and just cut everything out. But I think that's not really a good way to go about it. It's better to do like little things like no meat Mondays or whatever to slowly cut down and figure it out. And sometimes it's also just having these new ideas like, oh yeah, maybe I shouldn't eat as much meat, or maybe I should change my soap, you know, to not have a soap container or have a bar soap or whatever. Because bar soap, that's something that I never really thought about, I guess. Or having like, you had a big, I'm not sure entirely if it was in that cut of the video, but you had this big sort of thing of liquid soap that you'd put in a little dispenser. I hadn't really seen stuff like that before.
Okay, cool.
We did actually have, relating to soap, a comment just a little while back from Nicola saying that she has switched to homemade deodorant because actually making along the lines of soap deodorant is quite simple and quite safe for you as well.
Do you know what? Who is it? Is it Eugenia? Off camera. I'm going to bring you on again, sorry. Don't you use a crystal?
Yes, I do.
I do too.
Explain?
It's a hard crystal, which is...
Come speak into the mic.
It's a hard crystal that you just wet and use under your armpits, and it works. And I used to go running, and it worked then too. Well, you guys tell me, does it work?
You don't smell.
You don't smell, no, but I also have a cold. So
You smell lovely, Gina.
everyone's all together. That's really interesting. I guess go and Google that.
Yeah, I think it's called Salt of the Earth. If anyone wants to know, it's just like a crystal, salt crystal, and it's a bit of a weird one.
Don't drop it because then it becomes like shards of the most sharp thing.
Good to know. All right, should we wrap it up there?
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, we need to thank all the contributors that took part in this live stream. You'll see all their names on screen in a second. We need to thank our funders and everyone for sharing their knowledge. Our funders are the Lotto Community Fund, the AONB in Suffolk, the British Ecological Society and the Suffolk Naturalist Society. And the final thing I think it's probably worth saying is that Siren is like 90% run by young people. We are all 25 and under pretty much. We've got a couple in their late 20s and maybe one 32-year-old, and then the proper grown-ups. But for the most part, all of us are under 25, and that goes for the person running the live stream, the people holding the cameras, the presenters, everyone. So we really try hard to make content for young people by young people. All of that content will be posted to our YouTube channel, Siren Calling. I know we are streaming on Incredible Oceans today, but it will all be on Siren Calling. Go and subscribe there. And is that everything?
Yeah. Sounds about right.
All right. We've crushed it. High five. Run the outro. We'll see you guys at 3 p.m. for the second one.